What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with another video. Join us now as we look at this week's edition of Raw, as well as the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including Rusev and Lana have broken up their marriage, Stephanie McMahon and Nick Khan named in Vince's lawsuit, was there a big botch on Raw, Maxxine Dupri's real-life brother died in 2017, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Also check out our new videos on Wrestlelamia Shorts. Now, as always, we won't recap the show, but just look at the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. As always, we start off with the good as number 1, WWE did it. A major credit to the WWE for doing what seemed impossible, keeping Jey and Jimmy Uso apart after SummerSlam all the way up until WrestleMania. Many fans were doubtful the WWE could stretch out the brothers Uso's first meeting in this feud this long, but stretch it out it did, keeping things simmering without boiling over. It'd be great if WWE emulated the other brother versus brother feud of Bret Hart versus Owen Hart and have the match come on first at WrestleMania. Number 2, WrestleMania 40 is taking shape. Unlike Friday's SmackDown, Raw developed a picture for WrestleMania by determining Gunther's WrestleMania opponent and informing fans the Undisputed Tag Team Championship will now be defended in a 6-pack challenge ladder match, both which should be must-see matches. Number 3, strong tag title match. The Kabuki Warriors vs Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark was a hard-hitting and jaw-dropping bout that was the challenges for the taking except for Dakota Kai's presence at ringside. Baszler and Stark looked strong in defeat, and their loss makes it clear that Kairi Sane and Asuka could be champions for a long time unless someone can deal with damage control's outside interference. Number 4, Drew never gets old. And we said so much about Drew McIntyre's metamorphosis into one of wrestling's best heels that sometimes it seems redundant mentioning, but nevertheless, McIntyre always finds a way to top himself every week and earn a spot in the good. Number 5, the Gauntlet match told a terrific story. Last night's Gauntlet match was more than a barn burner that spotlighted some terrific undercard talent. It also told a story of a babyface valuing sportsmanship and professional pride during his match against a fellow babyface that it may have cost him the match. In case you missed it, Sami Zayn was in rough shape after facing Bronson Reed and Shinsuke Nakamura, and Gable likely could have pinned Sami easily. Instead, Gable helped Zayn to his feet before the match began, and Zayn eventually won. However, make no mistake about it, this story is only getting started. Number 6, WWE exploiting Maxxine's real-life heat. Last night's tag match featuring Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell against Maxxine Dupri and Ivy Nile was an example of how to take real-life heat on a wrestler, in this case some fans' disappointment with Maxxine getting too much time in the ring when she still is green, and turned it into a storyline. Having Candice LeRae taunt Dupri is a good way to build LeRae's heel turn, and although we'll see in the news, WWE could be taking things a little too far. And Becky's dangerous road to WrestleMania continues. Give the WWE and Becky Lynch credit for making her road to WrestleMania a bumpy and at times difficult one. Lynch already has her hands full going up against Rhea Ripley, but that hasn't stopped the man from putting up proverbial fires with Liv Morgan and Nia Jax. Lynch could take the easy route and duck these matches until after Mania, but it isn't in her character and it only makes her look stronger heading into WrestleMania. That was the good. What about the bad? There's not much. Cody's speech was a little redundant. Cody Rhodes is an electrifying talker, but the WWE needs to find something for him to do besides talk his way on the road to WrestleMania. As fans have seen with Becky Lynch, fans are more invested when someone heading in towards the WWE show of shows has an exciting journey that they do more than talk. Sadly, much of what Cody has been saying of late is the same thing he has said last year on his way to facing Roman Reigns. They need to give Cody something better to do, or the WWE Universe could lose interest in what could be the biggest match of Cody's career. That was nothing downright ugly, a beautifully booked show that featured several strong matches and just the right amount of build for WrestleMania, unlike last week's SmackDown. What do you guys think of the show? Let us know in the comments down below. Now let's move on to the news. Our first story looks at Stephanie McMahon and Nick Khan named in Vince's lawsuit. Atop of today's news are major revelations in Janelle Grant's lawsuit against Vince McMahon, John Laurinaitis, and the WWE, as it appears several previously unknown named parties in the lawsuit have been identified. The lawsuit identified 2 executives as corporate officers number 1 and number 2, and now Front Office Sports has identified these 2 as WWE's President Nick Khan and COO Brad Blum, respectively. According to the report, the suit claims that Khan and Blum, whose names had not been previously reported, were instrumental to a scheme in which the plaintiff, a woman named Janelle Grant, was employed in a completely undefined role except for the understanding that she remained a sexual slave to be used and trafficked by McMahon within the WWE. So what exactly does this mean? While the article explains, unlike McMahon and Laurinaitis, the two are not personally accused of sexual misconduct or violence, rather the suit claims that they and others facilitated and covered up exploitation in ways that made the WWE liable under federal anti-trafficking law. The lawsuit is a lengthy document that contains many allegations, including the argument that WWE officials knew about the alleged misconduct committed against Ms. Grant, and these officials did nothing to stop it. As we've commented ever since the hush money scandal broke in 2022, the WWE could face a lawsuit if others in power knew of the misconduct and did nothing. Not only is Ms. Grant alleging this, but if Khan and/or Blum were aware, it could mean serious liability for the WWE, and it could cost one or both men their job. Now, of course, it's always vital to point out that these are still just allegations. Indeed, the WWE has already issued a statement following this story. WWE takes Ms. Grant's allegations very seriously and has no tolerance for any physical abuse or unwanted physical contact. Neither Nick Khan nor Brad Blum, prior to the lawsuit being filed on January 25, 2024, were aware of any allegation by Ms. Grant that she was the victim of abuse or unwanted physical contact, nor does the complainant allege that either had knowledge of such. The report identifying Khan and Blum stresses that the suit does not explicitly make any claims about whether Khan, Blum, or the other two corporate officers knew of the alleged acts of sexual violence or cruel and degrading treatment. Nonetheless, observers will be interested to see what happens regarding Khan and Blum in terms of whether one or both will resign or take a leave of absence pending resolution of this case. But how did Front Office Sports uncover the identities? According to the article, Front Office Sports independently identified Khan and Blum as well as the other two anonymous corporate officers to whom the suit refers by cross-checking the details of the suit against publicly available records like online resumes and corporate filings, as well as information provided by sources familiar with WWE. The article gives an example of how this information was pieced together. Corporate officer number 1 is said in the suit, for example, to have maintained a 4th floor office at the company's former headquarters, which is a person who worked there confirmed was true of Khan. Ms. Grant's attorney was asked about the identifications and replied, "I can confirm that these names are correct." However, Khan and Blum are just 2 of the 4 apparently identified names. Let's look at the other 2, one of whom is a well-known figure in WWE. The report also contains additional information about the person referred to in Ms. Grant's lawsuit as corporate officer number 3. According to the report, that person is former WWE executive Stephanie McMahon, with Stephanie's identity confirmed by Ms. Grant's attorney. The front office report notes Stephanie is only mentioned once in the lawsuit and in an ambiguous context. Another former WWE General Counsel identified. And finally, the report identifies former WWE General Counsel Brian Nurse as Corporate Officer 4. Like the other persons identified, Nurse is not being sued, however the report discusses Nurse's 2020 exit from the WWE and how it relates to the lawsuit. In November of 2020, Nurse was, the suit says, terminated or asked to resign, making him one of the number of employees it claims were forced to resign or were let go if they knew of McMahon's exploits and failed to assist, support and/or facilitate them. Once again, it's important to stress that none of the persons identified are being sued by Ms. Grant. It's just as important to stress that the case has not been tried in court other than the court of public opinion. Next up, a big botch on Raw. Now, has Chad Gable's quest to win the IC Championship ended following his loss at last night's gauntlet match on Raw? Well, some fans are pointing out to Gable's apparent pinfall loss and claiming it wasn't so apparent that Gable's shoulders went down for the 3 count. This follows an emotional post-match interview Gable gave to Kathy Kelly after the show, which could be the setup for the WWE booking a rematch between Zayn and Gable, or turning Gunther's WrestleMania 40 title defense into a triple threat match. Now, not everyone thinks that there was a discrepancy, and this may be a case of wishful thinking by Gable fans. Next up, Maxxine Dupri's real-life brother died in 2017. Did the WWE take things too far with the storyline heat between Candice LeRae and Maxxine Dupri? Not only did Candice trash talk Dupri about how the locker room disrespects her, LeRae told Dupri it's good that her dead brother isn't here to see what an embarrassment you are. According to Wrestle Talk, Maxxine Dupri's brother Wyatt Zamarzell passed away at age 22 in a traffic collision in 2017. This isn't the first time the WWE has had a female wrestler mention another female wrestler's dead brother, as Paige mentioned Charlotte Flair's late brother Reed during their feud, but that doesn't mean some fans won't be outraged. A Christian Cage, who routinely brings up wrestlers' dead family members, commented on what Candice said. "They all wanna be me." What do you guys think of the comments though? Do you think they were too far? Does anybody bring this up when Christian brings it up in AEW? Let us know in the comments down below. And finally, Rusev and Lana have broken up their marriage. Sad news to report, as CJ Perry and Miro, who met during their time in the WWE as Lana and Rusev, have announced they are splitting up. TMZ Sports is reporting TMZ Sports has learned the famous, now former couple, who also play a married couple in the ring, broke up once and for all in winter 2023 after years of an on-again, off-again relationship. Perry told TMZ, "Mia and I have made the difficult decision to separate after many wonderful years together and have decided to move on as friends and hopefully on-screen characters somewhere down the road." CJ Perry recently returned to wrestling, working in AEW as Andrade's manager until she turned on him at World's End during his match against Miro. There's no word on whether AEW will acknowledge the couple's real-life split in future storylines. As for the real-life story of their split, the TMZ report added, "We're told Perry and Miro, known as Rusev in World Wrestling Entertainment, remain friends and still plan to work together in the future. We wish CJ and Miro good luck as they move on to the next chapter in their lives." But there you have it, folks, our look at Raw as well as the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know. Be sure to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.